So the Adventures of Robin Hood, it kind of feels like not totally off brand for us, but it does feel like there's so much bow heavy content that they just backload all of the sword stuff for the end of the movie. Now, granted, it is like the best thing about
Yes.
this movie, the sword fight between Robin and Guy of Gisborne, but like I feel like we just got to wade through a lot of, you know, shallow fryer filled streams before we get to the really good stuff.
Get to the real mutton of this episode.
Exactly, the real mutton.
Here we are.
Welcome, broads, bastards, and all the swords in our armory to another special episode. Jonathan, what do we call these again?
These are called There Can Be Only One.
Although
you. It's a two-parter.
Yep. This is a special There Can Be Only One because there's technically two. That's right. This is part 2 of an episode talk of their Minute of Thieves podcast, collabing with the Sword Boys as we talk about 1938's The Adventures of Robin Hood. We are watching the second half, the second cut of this movie. It begins more or less around 49 minutes, 21 seconds with the prince and the High Sheriff of Nottingham conspiring to capture Robin Hood, and we're going all the way to the end of the movie.
And if you haven't listened yet, please go over to Minute of Thieves and listen to their our talking about the beginning of the movie with our guest. He's now our guest. We switched.
Yep.
Before we were his guest. Now he's our guest. Well, who else are you going to talk about swords and bows with than Travis Bow? Travis,
That's
welcome.
right.
Hey. This should be there can be only one half.
There you go.
Yes, this is the TC Boo of we haven't done it. This is actually our first TC Boo, really.
I thought so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This has been something we've been thinking about. At some point it may become a Patreon type thing, but it's more fun right now just to put it out in the main feed. So these are episodes where we don't do it cut by cut because we're just like, it's an hour and a half long movie. Let's just get through it and talk about it. But this is 1938.
Yeah.
So this is prime sword fighting back in the day. This is your grandpa's sword fighting.
This is pure
1938.
swashbuckling sword fighting.
The golden age of Errol Flynn and swashbuckling movies. Hitler's rising to power in Germany. Prohibition ended 5 years ago. Though it's good times.
Women and minorities are just having a great time. Everything's awesome.
So go back and listen to that first episode, everybody, and then come on back, and we're going to pick up the conversation where we ended it.
Yep. Our regular listeners, you of course know our voices. I'm Rick.
Jonathan.
Yep. Just because I forgot that we didn't introduce ourselves like normal.
Robin, not Hood.
No, interrupt's the right word. We didn't interrupt each other like we normally do.
But yeah, like I said, we
don't ever interrupt each other.
We know what? I'm here too. Okay, sorry.
Oh God.
Plumpy's back, guys.
Yep. So anyway, Prince John talking to the High Sheriff, like I said, they are trying to think, hey, listen, Robin Hood, he's a real pain in the ass. How are we going to get our hands on him? And the sheriff's like, oh, arrows. Let's do an arrow tournament. This is my contribution to the movie.
This is where he gets his first title, though. Robin Hood, pain in ass.
Yeah.
This is this movie. I have to go back now. I don't know. I'm not a huge cinephile when it comes to some older, like the way action movies started. I wish I had. I actually should make a goal for myself and go back and watch every movie considered action adventure, like since the beginning of movies. But is this the first movie where bad guy creates incredibly elaborate sting operation to catch the main guy? And it may be the first movie where, I'm sure they've done it in other movies, but it seems like this is the first one. Like, we're going to have a huge tournament, and at the end of the tournament, whoever wins it is actually Robin Hood because he's the best. And it's like, okay.
I like the logic here. You know, it doesn't make sense, but it does. It's so simple in its stupidity that we're gonna hold this tournament.
I've got nothing but money and
Robin
time.
Hood,
So
Robin Hood won't be able to resist because it's a challenge. It's an archery challenge.
Yeah.
And so whoever the best archer is, it must be Robin Hood. And when we get to the tournament, in a lot of versions of this, Robin will disguise himself as an old like beggar.
dork.
Or stork, yeah.
I was kind of confused. He wasn't wearing a stork costume.
But he is wearing the exact costume that he wears in the cartoon, the Disney cartoon.
Yeah,
it's the exact costume. It's the purple hood, and
it's
everything.
Right here where I was like, these guys, like Disney's Robin Hood, really just lifted all the costumes from this movie.
Yeah, the
Warner
guy
Brothers
that rides
like,
in with the
hey.
arrow, like he just looks like one of the, I forget it. He might be like a rhino in the animation.
He is a rhino, and elephants are the guards.
Yeah.
Rhinos are also guards.
But the outfits are like identical to what the animals will wear.
Like when that Disney's Robin Hood came out, was it considered like, oh, this is kind of like a parody? Like,
I think so. Yeah.
A parody of because at the time Disney could take anything that was a non-copyrighted in in the public
it was open
domain.
Yeah.
Any story, any fairy tale is anybody can do a Robin Hood story. Anybody can do Snow White,
Sherlock
story.
Holmes. Yeah.
So I like that the contest is set up because it's as if Prince John and Gizmo, know that Robin Hood will not be able to resist. Especially, it's a golden arrow. It's presented by Maid Marian, of course, and that Robin Hood is such a cocky guy that he will just march right into the hornet's nest carrying an armload of deer, even just like, whatever, nobody can put a hand on me,
And this in the timeline, this is 7 months later, right? Because the amount of time it would take to tell everyone in medieval England that there's a tournament and to craft a golden arrow and set up all this shit. Our plan, which we started last year, is finally coming to fruition.
You know that there are people involved in this plan that, like, it started off as a trap, but now it's gone so far that they're just really enthusiastic about the tournament going.
Really want to win, yeah.
Like some people, like, I really want to win. You know, this is a trap, Earl. Right. What is your problem?
You can't win. Robin Hood has to win.
And it's here where Disney's Robin Hood is so much more realistic.
Because in Disney cartoon, he actually covers his face.
Yeah.
Like
Robin,
I think the guy in the hat looks familiar. Have we fought with him and hung out with him at a banquet?
I'm really surprised. I'm surprised he doesn't put on like an old man beard, because I just watched the Robin of Sherwood, TV series, and they do this scene. It's very similar, but he disguises himself as an old man with a big wispy white beard. He puts on a terrible, voice to make him sound like, oh, I'm just an old man, let me take my shot.
More terrible than their actual voices in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, haha. Well, first of all, he puts his hands on his hips, he laughs, and then says, haha, they can't see my ears. They won't know who I am. Don't worry.
No, I just wonder, like, of course Robin's gonna do this because he's so cocky that he's like, oh, come on, I gotta do this. And Marion's gonna be there, come on. But it's just, I don't know. I would assume like all his men are like, what are you doing?
It's a trap.
We kidnapped all these guys, humiliated them, stole their stuff, and now we're just all gonna walk in like, oh yeah, they won't see me in this hat.
Happy as you please.
The biggest travesty in this scene. Look at Will Scarlet. What have they dressed my pretty, beautiful Will Scarlet in?
Look how they massacred my boy.
They massacred my boy.
He looks so uncomfortable not to be wearing a bright shade of red.
He's like, look at these dulcet tones I'm wearing. I cannot even handle this.
God. What I can't handle is so the nobility, they take up the first couple of rounds of the tournament before it's opened up to all comers. And the three main combatants for the king, you've got Philip of Arras, which sounds properly medieval. You've got Elwyn the Welshman, the guy from Wales, and then Matt.
I didn't know Matt was a name.
Everybody knows Matt
back then.
Sure. Fun fact, I guess. Elwyn the Welshman, that is Howard Hill, the expert archer who is doing all the professional shooting for this movie. He will, when we're going to get to the famous split arrow trick shot, he's the one actually doing it.
Nice.
Did he split the arrow, or is it?
Yes.
Is it chicanery?
There's trickery. He uses a much larger arrow to split. There is a bit of a wire work being done, but he still had to make the shot and had to be accurate. So yeah, he does in effect, he does a split arrow sort of shot for real. But
that's one thing.
It's well controlled, but
to talk about what your show's about, Travis, that's one of the things, the biggest things I love about Prince of Thieves is how kind of ninja-y Kevin, the scenes I get to be in, he doesn't have his bow yet. He's still a prisoner. But when he becomes Robin Hood, the stunt work with the bow and arrow, it's like magical. Like the scene, especially where he picks up 2 arrows, rips one corner off one arrow, and then that way you can notch them at the same time and let them fly. Those kind of things. I love that movie for the magic they gave Kevin Costner's character. This one, it's mostly just, I'm just going to shoot you. There's no
it's straightforward. There's no trick shots, really.
It'd be great if he shot without looking up in the air, and it goes up in the air like in the cartoon. Then he shoots one in the air, then he hits it with another arrow, and it hits the target.
Yep. He knocks the one arrow back into place. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of it is like him shooting, and then you go to a reaction shot from somebody else. They don't actually show the arrow hitting the target until the next shot after the reaction.
There's a good
like a tennis match.
There's a good montage here, though, too, of just the whole field of archers taking their shots, but they edit it really nicely to show us that there's a progression of it's the field started out with maybe 50 people, and they've whittled it down to now there's 2 people left. Really good scene, I think. And I may have misspoke. Over in the previous half, I said that Robin at that banquet was probably the best look. I think this might be Robin's best look of the movie. Sort of. The tinker. Yeah. This scarlet kind of color that he's wearing, this purpley red.
Scarlet.
That's
how
my
dare you?
Speaking of this fit, does anybody get the sense that Marion immediately clocks Robin Hood?
Oh, instantly. Yeah.
There's not even a delay.
And they start eye banging each other the moment he gets there. At least
Errol
he does.
Flynn's
he
wife
does.
was pissed.
I gotta say, this is the love, the chemistry those two have is almost as good as Will Scarlett's and Robin's, almost, and almost as good as for me the best romance is Sir Guy of Gisborne and Prince John. They are the best together. They're great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Much, the Miller's son, and Bess are off screen, just going.
Oh my god!
They're ravaging each other.
They're just
right now.
they're just giving each other red fever or whatever it was back then, whatever horrible diseases they had.
I will have much more.
Fancy that, my lady.
He's tickling her fancy.
One thing I did notice in the way that they're showing in this montage progression, which is scary to me, is they shoot the arrows and then they turn the targets around the other way so another set of people can shoot arrows. So people are shooting arrows at other people. There are people on either side.
Well,
and they're really hoping you hit the target.
Yeah. Wow. And if you notice, they're shooting the arrows at the targets. There are the arrow boys. They are just off.
Fuck those guys.
Goddamn arrow boys.
They're standing 5 feet away off to the side. So even if they, if someone move, just aim just slightly wrong, they might whip over into the, I don't know, into the
you
staff.
expect more like a comedy movie thing where it hits him in the chest, nice shot, sir, and just falls out of frame.
That would be Men in Tights. Yeah. Well played, sir.
And then I just want to, our listeners, they probably just tuned in. Maybe they didn't go back to the first. I just want to let you guys know there are swords coming.
We swear.
They're like, what is this garbage about arrows?
We're talking to the bow boy.
the titular bow boy. Yeah, and then the trap is kind of sprung once Robin shoots his trick arrow. They've all figured out like, okay, this is our guy. And
But I'm wearing purple. I don't. Robin Hood wears green.
You know how I figured it out? Because he looks like Robin Hood.
Oh shit.
Because he doesn't have his face covered.
Yeah.
No, I'm wearing a dumb hat. The
Like
other
that-
hat's not dumb.
But remember, that must have been like 7 months ago, like you said. How could
Yeah.
they remember Robin Hood's face when he walked into the banquet with the deer and
All Saxons are dirty.
that?
They all look the same.
That's
It's all
true.
bad.
Right.
I'm a horrible racist.
Normans have memory like me. Like, you know, so many
Oh, you have
emotes
face
I've
blindness?
remembered in the past. Face blindness. Yes.
I have face blindness. It's less face blindness and just it's a level of apathy.
You
that
just
has
don't
grown to
care when you meet
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the God's honest truth.
I can't be bothered to remember who you are.
Who are you?
If I'm not going to do a podcast with you, I don't really want to learn your name. Yeah, Maid Marian's about to give him the arrow of light,
Yeah, she is.
if you know what I mean.
And I'm going to give her one as well.
This is my favorite Maid Marian outfit.
Mm.
If we're talking outfits, I mean, it's kind of sucks.
It's the
She's
most like
always
the
in big-
fox.
It's sparkly too.
Yeah.
My wife has the thing for the Robin Hood fox. Have we talked about?
No, you have the
women?
thing for the horny fox.
No, I have a thing for Lady Cluck. The have we talked about the fact that in the Disney cartoon there is a generation of women, probably closer to my wife's age, like mid 40s, late 40s, that have a thing for the original fox from the original, not from Zootopia, which is a whole different thing because that's
I just assume that's the whatever the
Jason Bateman.
yeah, but that's
My wife
Robin Hood was his ancestor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, things converged. Meredith was like, wait a minute. Shit, Jason Bateman, who's on her list, is gonna be a fox in a movie. It was like two things coming together. She's like, I was a little girl when I saw Disney, and I remember going, oh, I kind of like this fox robe gentleman.
Oodalali.
Oodalali.
I'd like to put that up as a poll. Like, are you more of a Robin Hood guy or a Nick Wilde guy, or gal, whichever you know?
Yeah, whichever floats your boat.
Every
Yeah.
generation has the movie that sparks off that weird furry fascination.
Yeah, I'm a Lola Bunny guy. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think who the sexiest cartoon person is.
Animal cartoon though.
Oh, it has to be an animal cartoon.
Right.
Watership Down.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
The brave little toaster.
Secret of Nim.
Oh, Mrs. Frisbee. Oh, I was going right there.
Those dirty rats.
I feel like Robin Hood in this situation, futilely trying to escape this trap that I've found myself in with you guys talking about sexy animal cartoons. Jumping on horses trying to escape, but the guards grab me and drag me right back to the stage.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we're back to the big set. This is we got to use this set again.
Oh yeah.
And this Robin actually gets the very first in media history, the very first ring around the collar. You don't see ring around the collar before then, and it gets sold as
That's something. Is that a myth? Because I don't have dirty neck problems. I don't wear a lot of shirts with collars, though. Let's go with that.
You only wear basketball shorts and graphic tees.
And since we're talking about clothes, this is Guy of Gisborne's worst outfit.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
What the hell is
Orange
he
and
wearing?
teal and red and yeah. It's not good.
Even Will Scarlett's like, it's a bit much.
Like, tone it back. It's like, listen, I'm rich, I can afford colors, so I just want all of them.
And that's kind of a thing, and I'll touch on that in Minute of Thieves, that color was expensive, and Robin wouldn't have been wearing green because green was a very expensive color. Blue was a very, very expensive color. That's why they would wear, browns and mostly browns. what shade of brown do you want?
Browns.
Because they were using vegetable dye for a lot of their clothes. So they
Do you
all
want to be
kinda-
potato colored, or do you want to be dirt colored?
So yeah.
You're more of an autumn. Look, at this point, everybody's an autumn. Everyone's getting brown. Do I have any blue? Shut up. Get out of here. Get out of my store. Get out of my store. What are you, Norman? Get out of here. This is Saxon. Oh, this is Saxon's Fifth Avenue. Welcome. Every brown to wear around town. That's what we do here.
So is that where they locked up Robin when they push him down the stairs and chain him to the wall?
That's great.
Yeah.
Man, I was watching this movie and all I could think of was, oh, Robin in prison? Is this where he's going to meet Azim and he's going to escape? Like, when does 1938's Morgan Freeman show up? And then I remembered, oh, wait, it's 1938. He wouldn't be allowed in the building.
Well, hello there, Christian.
Rick, there are no brown people in this movie.
The only brown things in this movie are the clothes.
And most of them are blue or green. So
yeah. No, this is 1939. Right.
It was 38.
Yeah.
It's much more progressive in 39. All good then.
Sure.
Things were definitely progressing in 1939, but they were not good.
Nope. All right. We get the scene with horny Lady Cluck.
Yep.
Well, I love that there's that scene with where is this the scene where Marion hears what they're planning to do and she's like sneaking? No,
Yeah.
that comes later.
She does
that's
sneak
about
to the
King
boys.
Richard. That comes later. Okay.
It's
Oh, that's right. She talks to horny Cluck, and
this is
gets
this
word.
is the scene where Bess is like, "Oh no, I definitely haven't been sneaking out of the castle every night to get dicked down by Much the Miller's son. I haven't been, ground down to nothing behind the windmill. Or
I'll try and walk
that.
over there, but my pelvis is shattered. So, well, thank God. All I know is thank God Will Scarlett's back in his full regalia.
Mm-hmm. But the thing I love about this is that Lady Marion takes the initiative here. And she's proactive about like, we got to do something to help Robin. So she goes to this tavern, uses the secret code of Loxley to get in. And
sticks her whole head into that. She sticks her whole head through hey, that's not what this is for. Hey, it's to talk. Don't know.
Right.
Boundaries.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a medieval zoom window.
They obviously hired Olivia de Havilland in this movie because they're like, listen, we're going to shoot you in soft focus and we're going to give you like, we just want you to doe eye at the camera constantly.
Yeah, her eyes are amazing.
But she's not just a sit back and let things happen type of lady. She, like you said, Travis, she takes initiative, and I really appreciate that.
To any entrepreneurs out there, if you could just make your bar look like the inside of this bar, I would be there every day. I love a dirty spoon. I love a greasy spoon, not dirty spoon. That's a sex move, I think. I love a greasy spoon.
This is a full-on tavern. Yeah.
I love a tavern. I love this like hominess.
Yeah.
So please.
Yeah. I don't need $20 hamburgers sold on a newspaper. I just want like big roaring fire, long tables, high ceilings.
Don't get someone to do your interior decorating. Go get a old Warner Brothers set builder and have them build me.
They're mostly all dead now, so
have their kids
act quick.
Mantelpieces for days, for sure. Yeah. Jugs everywhere.
Candles. Thick wooden jugs, guys. That's a movie.
No,
life.
Lady Cluck isn't in this scene.
Oh, speaking of fun things, did you guys notice what Star Wars stole from this scene?
Which scene are we in exactly?
So
in the tavern?
We're in the tavern.
Yeah, this is where they stole Walrus Man from. Walrus Man.
Will and Little John are talking to the tavern owner, and Little John says it's a trap.
Yes.
Yes.
It is. But yeah, I was thinking of Mos Eisley. There's a Dracula guy back there.
So
are you trying to insinuate that this is a wretched hive of scum and villainy?
Well, these are all thieves, right?
I assume they shot this next hanging scene near the same day. So they have all the extras from the, we used them in the Arrow tournament.
I feel like the movie opens when we have that town crier. This is probably that same town, same couple buildings around. There's a stone building, there's like a thatched roof building, and then a couple other.
Where was this shot?
This is all California.
This
is all like
San Bernardino.
The castles of San Bernardino.
Well, if you look in the background, you'll see an airplane fly by.
Yeah.
We get about 30 seconds of Robin Hood actually looking worried for once in this movie until all of a sudden he looks around and all his merry men are like, wink.
Yeah.
Wink.
It's another thing that Star Wars stole from this movie. You can almost hear the sail barge music. The rumph, 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 rumph.
And who knew that the I forgot my train of thought. Damn it. What was I going to say?
Gizmo, free us or die.
Yeah. Well, aren't Luke's hands bound when he does that flip off of the sail barge?
They're bound forward. They're in the front.
Yeah. But here,
no, they're not bound. They're not bound.
They're not,
because he does the. See ya.
I was thinking that somehow
that would look stupid.
That's right. Yeah.
With two hands.
You're right. Yeah.
So
it felt really out of place when there was like a peasant in a big barrel thing, and he threw a sword up into the air, and Robin caught it and did a front flip and then kicked some guy, but he didn't actually connect and he fell over.
And then Friar Tuck fell into a inexplicable pit.
Yeah. Friar Tuck had a jetpack for some reason. No,
Friar
Tuck had a cart, and his strategy for stopping the guards was to just pull the cart in the way, like a New York City delivery man, just getting in everybody's way.
This was my favorite scene, though, when Lady Marian grabs that chain and puts it around Prince John's neck and starts pulling on it. And Prince John's like,
What do you prefer, the Slave Leia look or Marian's Cosby look again here?
She's definitely Cosbying it up again.
Yeah. Is it the same outfit? I don't know.
No, it's different. The other one will look more like a couch.
They never reused an outfit in this movie. This is the era of costumes.
Costumes.
I like there's a stunt guy that does this leap onto the horse.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
While his hands are bound. So
excellent horse work, excellent archery work. And for being as fake as these movies of this time are, it's pretty great. The music's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this and haven't watched this movie, one, that's weird. Two, go watch this movie, please. It's one of those ones that we didn't say it. I don't think it's one of the ones that influenced us when we were kids, but it influenced the movies that influenced us when we were kids.
Yeah, for sure.
So go watch it. It's super fun. I think I've read about this because this was on a Corridor Crew, wasn't it, Rick? They have the scene of Errol Flynn when it's not Errol Flynn, when they close the gate, he cuts the rope,
pulls
how they did that.
It's one of my favorite stunts in this movie. It's
pretty great.
Yeah.
I want to give a special shout out stuntman wise. The executioner that is up on the ladder who gets shot in the back, when that ladder falls over, he falls full weight on the end of one of those spears, and you can see the spear tip just crumple like paper that I'm sure it's made out of, but he still falls on
the staff,
like an 8-foot staff.
Yeah.
On top of two horses. It is not a good situation to land in.
And we know Lady Cluck's really the only one that should be falling on an 8-foot staff in this movie.
The drop that the stuntman, again, like he comes over the wall, and once he's on the good side of the wall, he drops like 20 feet.
Oh yeah, he is not close to the ground.
No.
It's like, we gotta lower this rope just a little bit more, guys. You're getting paid. Get up
look
there.
as good, yeah.
Get up there, Jimbo. You go back to hauling boxes. Sorry.
The next scene, though, it's amazing because Robin scales this wall outside of Lady Marian's, chambers or whatever, and it's just this scene does not pass the Bechdel test in
Nope.
any way, shape, or form. But it's Lady Marian and Bess, and they're just chatting about boys, just what does love feel like, and
Goosey pimples up and down your
yeah.
spine. This does not
Like-
that does not sound like love. If
And
somebody's
Bess is-
giving me
Bess is like,
cosplaying
oh, it's a
her nun outfit. It's really an odd look.
yeah.
A
yeah.
strange
Bess is
affinity
talking
for
about
hats.
how like it's a swelling up inside of you that fills you up with
Goodness,
so much emotion, and
careful.
Ooh, anybody else getting hot?
those feelings just thrusting their way into the forefront of your mind.
it's like when you're on a horse and you go faster and faster and faster, and it's really a bumpy road. That's
Yeah.
what it's like.
Marion has no idea what she's talking about, but
I ride
Bess is
side
just
saddle.
Bess is just having like Vietnam era flashbacks. to just
This is the first scene where we actually see Lady Marian's hair.
Yep.
Yeah. The
She
branches.
she has a lot of them.
Yeah,
lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
She has the second best hair in the movie. I think Errol Flynn's hair wins for just weirdest,
Oh yeah.
but her hair is beautiful.
I think my hair is the beautifulest.
I love when Robin, he says something like "you're in love," like he tells her, because he's eavesdropping on this conversation, and he just jumps into the room, and this scene charmed the pants off of me. So, yeah, I just love this scene between
Yeah,
Robin
they're very cute
and
together.
Marion.
They're very-
yeah,
they're very
it's
cute
cute
together.
as hell. Yeah.
It's very the whole climbing up it's very Romeo and Juliet as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you notice that she has a tiger's pelt on
She
her?
does.
As a tiger?
Yeah.
That's
This movie
interesting.
hashtag has a tiger.
It's weird that,
Is that
I
Prince
mean,
John?
that's almost like an unknown thing to someone from England in the 1100s.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get for trading with the Far East.
Right.
I
You know.
guess.
Along the
this
Silk
whole
Road.
I'm thinking of having a sweater made from it for my Cosby sweater. You don't know that reference yet, Robin, but I'll explain it later. The only thing that is annoying about this wooing scene is it's so dramatic. I'm gonna go out the window. No, don't go
Mhm.
out the window.
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, fine, I'll come
It's
back
like,
and
I'm going to drop myself on those guys, or I'm going to drop myself
Yeah.
on those guys, and they're going to murder me right out. And she's like, no, I don't want you to die.
But then I like when the kidding is, when they're finished kind of toying with this idea of oh, they don't really love each other or whatever. He comes back in the window, and once they're back in the room together, it's
Mhm.
just full on like, yeah, well, yeah, we love each other, and they're kissing. And I imagine this is probably the scene that I referenced in the previous cut that where she kept flubbing the scene and had to do
Mhm.
the kiss over and over again. This is probably the one. So
I wish in this scene at the end of it, she's like, "Robin, I'm pregnant," because it seems to all
Yeah.
be happening so
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
It's a boy.
Yeah. Robin's like, Marion, will you come with me? And she's like, to Sherwood? Or like,
right now,
or like,
right now we're standing
I'm
up
with
with
you.
the 1100s. What's wrong?
I
with
don't
you?
know what that means. Is that when the butterfly feeling in my stomach gets really intense?
Are we
Uh,
going to do it like a Norman or do it dirty Saxon style? I hear Saxon style gets wild. I hear sometimes the woman is near the top.
No, and oh shit!
You can do it clumpy style. That's a different way.
Yeah, you're already wearing the reins on your head. Why not?
Just hold on to each side. Here I go.
Hold on.
I like this Sir Guy of Gisborne, Commander Cockblock, coming trying to get
Yeah.
in on the. I'm wearing my wooing gloves.
it's like, eh,
Also, Lady Cluck wanting to stick around before all this starts. Like,
Mhm.
you can leave now.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go.
yeah,
You don't
Oh,
need me here.
this- three's a crowd, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Not in Saxon style. It's actually encouraged. Goodbye, my love. That's my favorite part. Is like you love her.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
known her maybe 12 minutes.
They've
of
seen
real
each other
time.
twice. That's back then. That's how relationships were.
We're only 22. We're so old.
right.
We have to
Yeah.
get married.
With
immediately.
clock's ticking.
Meanwhile, back at the Kent Road Tavern.
Yeah, this scene's also pretty fun.
Oh, the robe colors. Just like, okay, you're wearing red today, right? Okay, all right, I'll wear the green. So Richard's men are here, and I guess they're disguised as monks because I don't understand why these guys are all disguised unless, again, as I said in the first part, where are we in the timeline where Prince John is like, oh, we're doing this all to help King Richard and his ransom, as opposed to, oh no, if you see King Richard on the road, please kill him. Like, why are these guys not like marching straight? I'm King Richard.
Listen,
like,
when you're King Richard, kidnap me and hold me for ransom once, shame on you. Kidnap and hold me for ransom twice, shame on me. Like, he's learned his lesson. He can't just be going around with his heraldry and traipsing across Europe on his way back from the Holy Land. He's like, listen, no, we got to go incognito for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely not safe for the king to just outwardly be traveling as the king, because he's not commanding a huge army, right now. It's just they might have a handful of soldiers kind of sleeping in the stables while these guys are sleeping in this tavern. But
I'm pretty sure it's just him and these 4 guys.
Could be.
Me and my mighty morphin Norman Rangers.
I'm definitely the Gold Ranger.
Yes, I'm yes.
Oh,
then the evil Purple Ranger comes in.
There is a little bit of morality here. They don't quite hit it because it's 1938, but they're like, I should never have left England. I'm a Norman. I should never have left England because he is treating people badly. In Robin and Prince of Thieves, to come back to Travis's movie, I do like that they always make sure the reason why Robin understands now is because he's seen people that shouldn't have been fighting for their own lives. And a man who, what does he say? Something about a man fighting for his country is worth
it's
10 armored men,
10 hired soldiers. A person defending their home is more powerful than 10 hired soldiers.
Right. And that understanding, like, I wish the king had come back and been like, I understand now that I shouldn't have gone on the Crusades, which is an awful thing. That's happened 3 times at this point.
And will happen several more.
Yes. I should understand that my people, are being attacked. It's the same as me attacking those.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that. Basically what he says is, if I hadn't left, things would be better. I don't know about that, but I guess for the Saxons, it would have been better.
Yeah. I've recently done more research into the Crusades for one of my recent episodes that I recorded, and just the horrors that were committed in this crusade. Like, after they took, maybe I'm thinking of the first crusade. Either way, like I think the number is like 70,000 Jews and Muslims were massacred after they took Jerusalem. Like, it's like, the legacy is not great. So
no, but as kids, this was the whitewashing of history. This was the correct. The Protestants are coming in to purge the Holy Lands of infidels. So it was a lot of crazy history that we're all like, yeah, this isn't great now, not good. But again, we're back, and Prince John's still wearing his best outfit.
Yeah, the important thing about the tavern scene with King Richard and his Power Rangers is that the Blue Ranger tips off to the bishop that this is actually King Richard. So that way, when we go back to when the bishop goes back to Prince John, he can be like, "Oh, the king is back in the country. We better do something about this. Let's get Dick on this."
Why'd they tip their hand?
It's because the blue guy can't help but call King Richard sire.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean,
just a slip of the tongue, and that was enough to the bishop to glom on to the fact of who this was. So, because I guess no one else. I guess you don't call anyone else sire at this.
Did you guys notice what Star Trek ripped off from the next scene with Prince John and Sir Guy of Gisborne in this guard?
Is it Lady Marian sticking to the wall like Spider-Man, just trying to remain as flat and motionless as possible, even though she's clearly out in the open?
No, it's that the guard is wearing the first makeup test for a Klingon.
Yeah,
he
I was
has
thinking
giant bushy eyebrows that are at an angle.
Yeah, that's
I'm
all
like,
you need.
That's
for
a Klingon right there.
Jonathan. We don't talk about that time and that part of our history.
We don't talk about that. And he's wearing has a forehead ridge on his
Mhm.
helmet.
He's wearing lots of bronzer.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
this guy is this Dickon, whatever his name is.
Yep.
This guy looks like the most ethnic of anybody in this movie, and that's not great. Like it's like because this guy has a tan. That's the most you'll get of any
I'm from
kind
LA,
of
bro.
diversity.
I was out surfing the waves this morning.
I was doing a roofing job down the street, and they just saw like, hey, that guy's got a good look.
Yeah.
Let's
You
put a
kinda
metal
look like
hat
a
on him.
Klingon. That'll make sense later.
Yeah, so they basically tasked this knight who has no love for King Richard, tasks him with just straight up go out and murder the king, go intercept him on the road, and
And then he says right before he leaves, he says, "This is a good day to die." Weird line for him to say, but he does it.
As as he receives the order, he's like, "Kapla!"
Shit, I might have to do the Robin Hood episode of Next
That's
Gen.
a good one.
I am not a merry man.
And Will Scarlet is our favorite guy, Worf.
Yeah,
That's a good episode. That might have to be done.
yeah.
So they do their little plan, and Maid Marian and Sir Guy of Gisborne.
Stealthy Maid Marian.
Yeah. She wore her stealthy outfit.
Yeah. This bright white shiny number.
Peg wearing her. What the hell is she wearing? A fez? What
but
it?
it's a real
fez.
tall fez. It's extra.
I'm Peg. I wear fez now.
Yep.
It's Bess. It's Bess, and she
Bess,
likes wearing a
not Peg.
bucket on her head.
Sorry, pegged is what she gets.
Lady
Her name
Cluck
is Bess.
No,
Lady,
Bess does the pegging.
Lady
does-
Cluck is wearing a chicken
God.
bucket on her head.
Listen,
Guess what I feel like tonight?
craft services went to KFC, and the wardrobe department is like, "Oh crap!" And they just grab it.
My hair smells
Sense.
amazing.
The Disney animator's like, I have to think of some animal for the best character. Remember that time she wore a chicken bucket on her head? How would we make her a
Make her a
chicken?
giant. Just make her a giant busty chicken with a big badonk.
Yeah. And she likes to, we'll call her Lady Cluck.
Maybe Lady Cluck was my. I'm telling you, man. I'm Team Lady Cluck all the way.
Or like Lady Fuck.
Yeah, Lady for Cluck. All right, so Maid Marian is showing her hand in
She's
some way.
revealed as the
She's
spy.
Yeah,
Back when
she's-
movies where you just told your plan.
Yeah.
Yes,
she's
I
like
love him. Yes, I
planning
love
to
him, and he's
write
mine.
It's like writing a letter that she was going to send to for Lady Cluck to deliver. Yeah, this whole thing that she gets found out for. Yeah.
Every time Bess is running in this scene wearing that stupid hat, all I hear is wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Look like she's wearing a siren on her head. Again, next scene is the trial of Maid Marian.
Mm.
This set is huge.
It's
Just-
still the same
Yeah, they've
big
redressed the
set, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they've redressed it. It's the scene from the banquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
find
think
it
they have
odd.
a banquet room. They have a Sir Prince John's room with the fire, and they
Yeah.
have the room with the sneaky stairs.
Yeah, they've got an entire castle, and like, no, let's just do everything in the one room.
Well, the sneaky stairs is also the fight stairway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's
they've
like
also got,
in
like,
my
the-
mind, there's the middle.
The dungeon kind of play set.
Did you guys have the dungeon play set?
It always had a crane for some reason, and
There's a Dianoga, and I didn't know where to put him in the
Yeah.
set. I'm like, where does he go? Does he go in the foam that comes with it?
yeah. So Lady Cluck makes it to the tavern. She fills much in with all the details. And
I
like
filled her in, thank you.
Yeah.
and then they got to sharing the details of the. I like this sequence where Much goes and he intercepts the knight that's on his way to do in King Richard, and it's a more brutal of a fight than I think I expected.
Yeah. Like this is like knock down, drag out, knife fight, shanked in the river type.
This is almost
stuff.
as bad as the Saving Private Ryan knife fight.
Mm. Oh my
This
God.
and he jumps all the
Oh,
way
shit,
from
yeah.
that branch onto
Yeah.
a dude on a horse in water.
That's some stunt work.
You don't make that anymore.
I do love the strategy that a lot of these horse riders use in this movie of, hey, I want to give my horse some water, so let's wade into the water so the horse doesn't have to like actually bend down. The water's just there.
You can lead a horse to water, but
Hey, look, I appreciate any help I can get. It's hard as hell to drink. When your legs
can
are
also
longer
pee
than your
here.
neck.
I also like that we don't see a conclusion to this fight until
Right.
a little bit
Meanwhile-
later, and then Much is half dead. I mean, Will Scarlet finds him, well, after a little while, but you don't know the fate of Much. And I was worried for a little while that I was like, oh shit, did they kill Much off screen?
Yeah, in
Was I
my
worried?
notes,
Not much.
I said I got to give Much a lot of credit for trying to intercept the assassin, and then
Yeah.
later on in the movie, I had to go back and change my notes to be like, no, he murks this guy single handedly, which is not bad for a miller's son
So
against
Much
a
is the
guy who was
rogue.
trained
Much
as
is-
a knight.
Much as the rogue in our party, in our
Mm.
D&D party.
Sneak attack
What
damage.
is a miller?
It's the guy who makes
Makes
flour.
bread. Yeah, he grinds up,
Yeah.
A
oats
miller.
and
Okay.
corn.
That's why I was
whatever
making
for-
jokes about Bess getting milled behind the the windmill.
Oh, all right. I'm just catching up.
Yeah. Sex
Robin,
jokes.
did you have one of your happy edibles?
No, but I'm feeling like I need one.
Hey guys, what happened to the Mighty Morphin Norman Rangers cloaks? Why are they now wearing black clothes?
Yeah.
dark
now
wizards
they're
now.
now they're incognito.
Right. They activated incognito mode.
I think
I
I
gotcha.
think it says in the Wikipedia for this that now they're traveling as monks.
Monks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before they were monks.
Hey,
Uh,
they're the monks.
Classic, Robin Hood in the tree, just a grand gesture, like "Welcome to my woods," and then
Yeah.
like the whole another great line here is Robin asks Richard. He says, "Are you loyal to King Richard?" And Richard's like, "I love no man more dearly."
And he kind of shit talks him and says, I wish Richard hadn't left to go fight in the Crusades. He was like, oh,
Yeah.
you don't believe in the Crusades? And again, he could have easily said, I don't believe in any time you go to a place that's not supposed to be yours. Instead,
Yeah.
it's, I don't believe you should have left England.
Mhm.
It's like,
Right.
not really the point. The point
Robin's
is
more of a nationalist,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys know what Star Wars stole from this sequence?
the robe for the emperor. The emperor's robe.
I'm thinking of like Padme having in disguise, traveling with the our heroes in disguise.
She pulls a Robin of Locksley. She only
Yeah.
covers her ears, and we don't know who she is anymore.
Ah.
Also, to be fair, Robin didn't show up originally. If Robin had shown up in kabuki makeup and then doesn't have it on at the archery contest, you'd have been
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know who that is. That's somebody
Yeah.
different.
I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
true.
Lucas stole this scene for making it Phantom Menace because,
Yeah.
Richard steps forward and says, I am Queen Amidala.
Yeah.
And Robin's like, we shall like this.
Friar Tuck has a boss nass energy.
He goes,
We saw like this. Maybe we saw being friends.
And I'm so glad that Brian Blessed is in
Yeah.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Great. For King Richard. He has
He has so
they-
few lines in the
Yeah,
movie.
he-
Yeah.
They're like, he has to yell. We have
Yeah.
to let him
Gosh.
yell in the movie.
Brian Blessed was 2 years old when this movie came out.
I thought in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
So you could have had just a little toddler version of Brian Blessed coming out with a full beard.
Also already had
obviously.
the voice.
Yeah.
The voice, of course, yes.
Goo goo gaga. Hello, everyone.
Hawkmen, dive!
I'm a baby.
Gordon's alive.
Flying blind on a rocket cycle. We got them all, guys. I wish
All right.
Flash Gordon had swords. I'd talk about it again. Go listen back to the really old Flash Gordon minute.
Flash
Yeah.
Gordon minute.
I'm on it somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So,
We have a
Will
Richard
Scarlet
reveal.
finds Much, brings them to
Much
you know,
what?
to rob him, finds Much half dead man.
Poor Clompy can't make it over that little wood hurdle
Yeah.
with two of those guys on his back. He's like,
Almost
all right,
Scarlet.
oh, you're heavy.
Will Scarlet picks him up, and I can tell he is definitely a Norman from his tights. Goodness. He's actually above average Norman.
Right. So this is kind of the scene where like Robin and it's all kind of revealed here. You know, Much shows up. They find out that, oh, there's this plot to kill the king. I think this is where King Richard says, oh, he's safe, don't worry, and disrobes, and he's standing there in full on what you expect King Richard to be wearing, the big red kind of tunic with the gold lions,
lion heart and stuff like that.
The chainmail feels a little strange, but I mean, I guess it's part of the whole look, I guess.
Can you imagine wearing chainmail under a robe?
Right.
None of these fabrics were made to breathe.
So Robin is like, okay, well, we need to save Maid Marian. We got to stop the prince from being crowned and all that other stuff. And they're like, let's go to the Abbey because we've got a smash grab plan to get our way into the castle. And then it shows them all dressed in the black monk's robes. And
the King Richard's men already had.
Yeah. The Friar Tuck is like, I'm going to sweat to death in this robe. And Little John's like, well, at least you'll be smaller or something like that.
Oh, my God. He's so fat.
Here I am. I'm King Richard, and all of these men have committed incredible war atrocities in my name, in the name of God and Jesus. So, in case you're wondering.
Travis, I got to ask you, King Richard actually gets in on the action here at the end of this movie, whereas instead of rolling in at the last minute and being like, thanks for saving the kingdom, I'll marry you now. I mean, I won't marry you.
I will perform the marriage.
I mean, your name is Marian, so you're always
marrying away.
You'll always women be Marian.
Yeah, women be, and you be Robin. Robin.
Do you be Robin? Do you be Marian?
You look radiant, cousin.
Do you be taking Robin to be you? You do look radiant, cousin. Yeah, that's. I wish this guy had a little more. He needs more of a Sean Connery voice.
Though
they didn't know who Sean Connery was at this time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just 8 years old.
Do you mean that little boy, Sean Connery, who
I'm
yelled
not
at
in
me
movies
last night?
yet?
I'm
at the daycare with 2-year-old Brian Blessed.
Yeah, because so they're all marching in, and it's really like Robin and Richard's show. It's not like all the merry men are just kind of in the background. There's nobody's
on this march to this painted castle on the top of the hill.
That's another thing that Star Wars stole from this is matte paintings.
A direct reference to this movie, yeah.
And if you look in the background, you can see the same hills that we saw from Beastmaster. The rolling hills of California.
They're all dressed like giant Jawas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's where they got it from.
Hootini.
One of them calls the other one Pete.
This is basically just Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you've seen Star Wars, you've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that when they this whole processional leads up to the castle, and then it cuts into the castle, and it's like the coronation of Prince John, and it seems like it's a very private affair. Like he's surrounded by like maybe 6 people, but it seems like in a dark, dirty corner of the castle, and I don't know. It seems very private.
I mean, they only got the one room.
Yeah, but you think it'd be like in front of the whole kingdom.
Yeah.
It's weird when the bishop calls him by his full name, John Lackland. It's like, how dare you use my full name? It's always weird to hear royals' real names.
Oh, yeah.
Like their actual names.
You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like how Marian is Marian Fitzwalter.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
And King Richard is King Richard Jenkins.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect.
Richard Jenkins. Wow.
I'm King Richard Jenkins, Lionheart.
I know I looked it up, but I can't remember what. Or is it Lackland? Is it actually?
That's what the subtitles say, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is Richard Lackland. What are the current royals?
It's Prince John Lackland. So I don't know if he has the same, because they're all related in weird ways.
Yeah.
It's because he's supposed to be his brother.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah. Prince John.
Okay.
Yeah. The brother of, yeah, they're brothers.
Yep. And then in the middle of his coronation, Prince John receives an unsolicited dick pic.
Please explain. What?
Because the king's name is Richard, and Dick is a nickname for Richard, and John didn't want Dick to be there.
There's only one person that wants Dick to be here.
And it's Bess.
The horniest lady in all of the land.
I'm looking actually up his name. Go on, keep going.
Let's see. I like that the bishop kind of plays his part pretty well, and is kind of a dick to Prince John. Like
there's only one dick here.
He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't approve of this. All that. Yeah, I really like the way the bishop plays this. Just really sells the moment. And then there's a beautiful shot. It's really standalone, but it's a shot of Lady Marian in her jail cell. And she's like looking out the window that's too high for her to really see out of, but it's a beautifully shot little moment that
before all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Swords?
This is Jonathan. Yeah. What is the one thing you like to say? This is the most swords moment or something like that.
This is the most swords moment of the movie.
Absolutely, because everybody's got their sword out. Everybody's swinging them around. There is no rhyme or reason as to what's happening here.
No. Are you doing a sword fight breakdown?
Oh, I could never hope to
every
do every
individual actor. Yeah.
I'll just add so glad. I'll also add the music in of the sword fight breakdown at the beginning of this. Just know we're doing a
blanket sword fight breakdown for here till the end of the movie.
It's funny, because it's like a good 7-minute fight scene. Again, one of the ones. If you ask, we've been joking that things have been stolen from Star Wars. Every movie stole from this movie. Sword fighting for the next 20 years in movies, and especially of Robin Hood style high fantasy sword fighting.
Well, I know that. So the Star Wars movies, especially the prequels, they had Bob Anderson was like the sword master. I don't know that he's old enough to be around at all in this era of filmmaking, but he is definitely inspired by this era of filmmaking. So that's why they wanted this sort of sword fight kind of look for Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones.
17-year-old Bob Anderson could have been running around the set of this movie. He was born in 1922.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman.
Yeah.
And he's from West Essex, England.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd been around these guys.
Yeah.
One thing they missed in the Phantom Menace was having like little Anakin hiding up above, dropping tables on people and bonking them on the heads with maces, because Much is like the second featured fighter.
But don't worry, that moment got stolen for the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where April O'Neil is like, she's hiding up in the pipes or whatever while the Foot and the turtles are having their fight in the sewer, and she's just bonking people on the head with one of Donatello's staffs.
Yeah, Much is definitely caving in skulls here.
Oh yeah, he's braining people left and right.
He hits one guy with his mace in the skull without any protection. The second guy, he has to reach down and pull the helmet off like a pot lid, and then he can smash his head in.
But if you notice,
real
right
brutal,
around
bloodless stuff.
You could actually see like how rubber that that mace is. Just it's kind of like wiggling on the staff. But and that guys.
But like Robin said,
ever.
Yeah.
Well, King Richard gets in on it.
Guy is dressed like he kind of in his Superman colors. It's kind of a red, yellow, blue thing going on. He actually looks like, I can't remember his name. Maybe you can help me with this, Travis. He's from Apocalypse. He's a cartoon character.
Okay.
He has that.
See him.
If you look at
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
He looks like Big Barda.
Yeah, it has that. Well, they all had that
Kirby kind of design work.
Yeah, Jack Kirby style to his outfit.
Yeah.
I love the look on Basil Rathbone's face when the spear is thrown and it catches on the cape, and he has to kind of like slip out of the cape to keep the fight. And he's like, I really liked wearing this cape, and now I got to leave it behind.
That's why I always say no capes.
No capes.
There's one Norman soldier who gets stuck right in the chest, and the crest, I guess, on his chest has two axes kind of crossing each other.
Yeah.
And that just makes me think of, I don't know if you guys might be older, Jonathan for sure.
Hey, Robin's old
just
too.
Just pause there, just let that sink in. There was in the 90s in the 90s there was an animated series. It was essentially King Arthur's Knights, but what if modern day football players went back in time and they became King Arthur's Knights?
I didn't watch this shit. Does that make me old?
It's real bad, but they all had like emblems on their chest. So like,
what's it called?
I don't remember. I don't know. But like, so this knight, his the emblem on his chest would form two axes that then would become his weapons. Like they all had, so Excalibur was on the chest of King Arthur, and that's how he would get Excalibur to use in a fight. It would just be on his chest.
Jonathan, you don't have extensive experience watching the cartoon King Arthur and the Knights of Justice?
Oh, okay, there you go.
No, I don't. You mean the ones that was the animated series created by Golden Films?
I mean, it had 2 seasons over 26 episodes.
Yes, no, I did not listen. Well, I'm looking at it right now, and it looks terrible.
It was pretty bad.
All right, that's good to know.
Listen, let's make Power Rangers, but they're knights is the beginning and end.
Well, they did that a million times. They did that with when it was in the same realm as Mask. Mask. Yeah. There was a show where they had people who had like shields, and the shields had magic, and they had to like dip it in magic. It was always to sell toys. Every cartoon was to sell toys.
Yeah.
So
thanks, Reagan.
Thanks, King Reagan.
But yeah, once Basil abandons the cape, we go back into the spiral staircase space where Marion was doing her best Kronk from Emperor's New Groove, trying to hide. But I noticed here that Guy of Gisborne has the advantage going into this fight because he is on, he doesn't have his sword arm against the wall. So a lot of what Robin is doing is he's defending and occasionally trying to get a jab in, but for the most part, it's Guy who's more he's better positioned to make these wide cutting slashes.
I like in this scene that we've kind of learned that Guy of Gisborne is his equal for the most part. Because if you watch, this is the first time Robin in the entire movie has looked like he's actually working hard to fight with his sword. He's like, he's like doing a face kind of like, oh, I'm working, as opposed to before he's just always like, ha ha. He's always on top. So this scene continues when he knocks Robin down and knocks a candelabra on top of him.
And Robin throws a candle at Guy's face. Like
that's against the rules.
Wax on?
Listen.
Is that what we're gonna do?
Yes.
There's one person in this movie who's really into hot wax play, and it's not Guy of Gisborne.
No. Guilty. And I love this transition into silhouette.
That is amazing.
Love that.
And I love that harkens back to old school black and white.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell they do it for real. That is their actual silhouettes because the camera doesn't cut. They go from silhouettes to you then see the guys, continuing to move. So it's not a.
And those are the stunt performers because every time those are definitely stunt dudes. Because I believe Basil did not have the abilities. I'm looking at it right now, and it's definitely the stunt man, except for a couple of little shots. It's actually well edited.
Yeah.
And it's not as egregious as some of these movies where it's kind of like, well, you're like, well, that's not him.
Yeah.
I wish Little John in this fight scene, though, had his quarterstaff and not a sword.
Yeah.
Him with a sword
Why?
seems like, I don't know, it's his thing.
It's his
Donatello
traditional
and
weapon.
Michelangelo and those guys.
Because you're going against the theme of the show. Like, I don't want a sword.
I
Look,
did.
I don't.
In
I
the
stick
melee, like in the one of the wide shots, I did see there is one merry man with a was fighting with a quarterstaff. So
Maybe he's holding John's quarterstaff.
it must be, yeah.
Because it'd been fun if he's like using a sword. It'd be fun if John is using a sword and getting beaten, and then his sword gets knocked out of his hand, and out of nowhere, someone's like, "John, your staff," and throws it to him, and then he's like whirling around like a ninja and comes in.
Suddenly, the bully fight from Matrix Reloaded starts.
Yeah.
He's like, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I love how brutal this sword fight gets between Guy and Robin. The table fight, like one kicks a table, the other is like, "Ow!" and then he kicks the table right back at him. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Like
the
they're really fighting to the death. I love it.
I love the exchange they had around the brazier, and how Guy just gets really frustrated, grabs it, and throws it aside.
Yeah.
Like Robin is so much more willing to use his environment, where Guy is just about, I'm going to kill you. That is my goal. And Guy of Gisborne actually gets like a really close slash on Robin. Like, he cuts him kind of under the arm, and Robin kind of has to hold. Like, I don't know if that was necessarily planned as part of the choreography. It looks like a really close slice.
And so now they kind of.
Oh no, I was saying, is this mostly like speed ramping here too? Because
there's a little bit of it, yeah.
I don't think there's much of it.
No.
Remember back in the old days, everybody just walked fast too. You've seen Babe Ruth hit a ball.
Yeah.
Everyone's on cocaine right now. Remember, cocaine's good for you at this point.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Yeah. I got a toothache. Let me do some cocaine real quick.
Oh, my teeth, my teeth.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Shoot the scene. Shoot the scene. Shoot it.
But once Guy has Robin pinned up against the wall, he reaches for his dagger to actually have a second attacking implement. And I'm like, gee, why didn't that happen earlier? I guess it has to be with the fencing style that they were doing. It's the Italians who have the second weapon in the other hand.
It's very
parrying.
Prince of Thieves, the knife coming back into play. It's
right.
Sir Guy's in that it's the sheriff's knife coming back in, and that's what kills him in the end, because he kind of looks at it like, oh shit.
My own petard. I've been hoisted.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Well, he does try to stab him right in the face too.
Yeah.
It would have been a bloody ending.
But I like I think in watching it and kind of rewatching it, I expected Robin to come at Guy with either that knife or a knife of his own and kind of stick him right there. But Robin just kind of shoves him back and then steps forward once with a solid, sword stroke and just stabs him.
So, Robin, I know you pointed a detail out.
Me, Robin?
Yeah, you got to say which Robin. Say Robin Hood or Robin here.
Yeah, Robin here. When we were watching Hawk the Slayer, you called attention to Hawk stabbing his sword into stone a couple of times in the opening scene. So with Guy of Gisborne stabbing his knife into the wall, is this something that Hawk stole from Robin Hood, aside from so many other things?
Oh, they both like to get their sword stoned, I suppose. And it's all called back to King Arthur, obviously, sword in the stone. My expert.
So he kills him. Guy's dead. Now he's got to basically fight the rest of the rabble. He's beaten the boss.
I'm surprised that they give Guy of Gisborne like his corpse a last look. I'm surprised they linger on his face, when he's been tossed down to this pit. But
then his team magically shows up at the top of the stairs.
Yep.
And they come in and fight. And then we see, unfortunately, if you're going to whack a sword as much as you are, Robin's sword's a little droopy.
Yeah, it's,
it's not full. Yeah, it's not at full
extension.
It
happens sometimes. Sometimes you get
not as straight as it could be.
Sometimes you get half sword. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after exerting yourself, you might be at half sword for a little while. he goes in, he loves, he gives a hug to Marion, and then, Rick, I hate to, correct you, but well, actually, on the history, what is this? History skanks?
Yeah, Robin.
History sticklers.
There you go.
History sticklers, but this is really the most sword minute of the movie when they literally are throwing an orgy of swords on top of each other.
Are they about to form the one? What is it? The one throne? What the hell is that?
The Iron Throne.
Iron Throne.
The one throne.
Yeah,
one throne.
That's a lot of wasted
all.
swords. Are they just gonna? I guess they're
They're
just
going to reuse
disarming
them
them
later.
right?
Yeah. And then, of course,
Don't worry,
Prince
they'll
John,
give them to dirty Saxons.
Prince John, like, no, I wasn't being a bad guy.
John always lives in these movies.
Yeah.
Gonna get exiled.
Yeah, he's gonna get executed, right? Because he did treason. He did do some treason.
No, he just gets banished.
Just gets banished.
He has to leave England.
King Richard. No. See, this is something that Beastmaster stole from this movie. Because, King Richard is like, why don't you take your heretical ways out into the wasteland and ally yourself with the barbarian Juns?
Yes.
And then in
I'm
the
Prince
sequel
John,
to this,
and I'm going to come back even more powerful than before.
Yep. Yeah. The further adventures of Robin Hood, it'd
be weirder if Mayax sounded like that. Ooh, Mayax.
Prince John comes back. He conquers the city. He blinds Richard.
There are no kids to kill in this movie.
I'm going to kill so many children.
Just throw them into a fire.
Mwah.
Oh.
And then we get our the end of the movie where Prince King Richard is giving everybody back their stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Saying thanks to everyone. Everyone's pardoned who was bad is now good, and everyone that was good is now bad.
Yep.
He pardons everybody, but there was one or two real scumbags in that, rabble of merry men.
Yeah, not all the merry men were completely without sin.
Right.
I mean,
some of them were outlaws for a reason. And
look at what is the worst. He went out and killed somebody. His name's not what. What's his name?
Much.
What? What?
Listen, if you assassinate an assassin, like it equals out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That guy was a real dick on anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Robin gets a barony, but he doesn't want to stick around because he's like, oh, the king wants me to marry Marion? Yeah, okay, well, we're going to leave so we can...
go do it Saxon style.
We're going to go bang over here for a little while.
I heard you were all married men, not you? All right, you get married to Marion.
We built this giant door. We're going to show it again in the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're leaving and that's how the movie ends. I mean, it's with the closing of the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I guess they're going to have sex in that room with those two guys that also closed the door.
Right.
So kind of watch.
They'll be holding the clothes and,
Don't come knocking if the portcullis is rocking.
That old chestnut.
And we get good old fashioned credits.
Yeah. Real quick. Yeah. Just not much to... Like there's a cast list, but that's about it.
Bishop of the Black Cannons is a great name.
Absolutely.
With Montague Love.
Yeah, so I guess here at the end of the movie, we do
I don't remember Sir Ivor is.
We do our specific type of rating where the question is, do you give this movie your sword?
I do give it. I give it my sword. It's nostalgically. It's short. It's blissfully short.
100 minutes in and out.
Yeah.
Done.
Just like what?
Just like mutton bash. Much
in and out. In and out. What? In and out. What? 100 minutes. That's too long. That's too long to have any sort of. That's. So we having sex or we watching the Adventures of Robin Hood? Jesus.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about any 3-hour epics. Anyway, Robin, does this movie get your sword?
Absolutely. I really enjoyed the final sword fight. Of course, this movie could use a lot more swords, but it's Robin Hood. He's the bow and arrow guy. But I'm impressed at the sword play at the end, especially just the determination on both Basil and Errol's faces to beat the other person.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this. I like to think of them as maybe they work together like Ewan and Hayden did during the prequels. Like really wanted to get this awesome sword fight at the end done, and I think they pull it off, them and their stunt people that I really didn't notice as much as, you notice stunt people in 80s movies a lot more than you do in this one.
They must have looked and had the same body type, like really well. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which stuntman is in like Flynn?
Right.
This guy. Okay.
So Travis, you don't necessarily have to offer your sword. You can offer your bow, given your namesake.
That's what. Yeah. My plan was to not give this movie my sword, but to give it my bow.
It's funny that Robin was named after Robin Hood because his mom had the hots for Robin Hood. It's funny that your father is actually a bow, an actual archer's bow. That's weird.
Yeah.
That.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. I will echo what you gentlemen have all said and definitely give this movie my sword because it's the original. Like we kept cracking jokes this whole time about, oh, this is what this movie stole from there. This is what this movie stole from here. But it's the fact that they were able to do so much in 1938 when so much of so much of the modern movie magic that we know about like either was in development or it hadn't been invented yet. I mean, I keep going back to the fact that Europe was on the cusp of World War II and things were about to go downhill real bad. But the fact that we got this little gem right before everything went to shit just makes it even better.
If you go look up 1938 movies, like put it in, it's all drab. Like, because there's one called Child Bride. We'll talk about that at some point.
I don't know if there's swords in that one.
No, Blondie. It's a lot of drama. There's a Marie Antoinette, but it's not a lot of. I mean, Robin Hood is just like. I'm sure this did gangbusters at movie theaters.
Yeah,
because it's just so different than what was out this year at the time. So
they did $4 million in revenue at the time when the average ticket price was less than 25 cents.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And the budget was like 2 million. So it's like they at least they doubled their budget. So
yeah,
the sixth highest grossing movie of the year. It says.
I really love the set design, the costumes especially are just so bright and vibrant, taking full advantage of the Technicolor film. And the choreography of these fights are just so fast and furious.
Yeah.
That
that's another show I do.
We always be plugging.
I am Groot.
But no, it's there's so much to love about this movie and it doesn't overstay its welcome.
It's a classic for a reason.
It's not cheesy. It's not. Right. It's cheesy, funny. We can make fun of the way some of the things, but it's not badly cheesy.
Right.
Like there's some movies you watch, and you're like, this is kind of crap, but it's famous for the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well-made movie.
Yeah. You get a good cut. You get a good like Blu-ray, 4K upscale or whatever like that from the original film, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah. Errol Flynn was a whiskey man, and he said, "I like my whiskey old and my women young."
Yeah,
and then toward the end of his life, he consumed a bottle of vodka a day.
Oh my God!
Died at 50.
Dang.
No kidding.
I wonder.
When forbidden from drinking on set, he would inject vodka into his oranges.
Wow, okay. That's commitment.
And he said he died of a heart attack, but I don't know about that. Heart attack brought on by,
I gotta wonder if that would work, like to make yourself a mimosa by just injecting champagne directly into an orange.
We're just gonna have to try.
Yeah,
we'll never know.
But no, this was a excellent movie. Travis, thank you so much for calling us in and giving us this idea to do this little crossover between your podcast and ours.
My pleasure. And I guess speaking of my podcast, I'm working on Minute. So my podcast is Minute of Thieves, where I am doing Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1 minute at a time. This 2-part, kind of crossover will be the first released episode of Minute of Thieves, I'm doing the Road to Sherwood. So I'm going to be looking at movies that are either Robin Hood movies, just flat out Robin Hood movies, or movies that I feel are in the same vein as a Robin Hood movie. And so the next movie on the Road to Sherwood is going to be the 1998 Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins and
another sword movie.
Zeta-Jones. So yeah, that'll be coming next on the Road to Sherwood, which will be the Minute of Thieves feed. So yeah, please come back in a few weeks and check that out while I'm continuing to work on the movie by minute portion of the podcast.
Yeah. As longtime listeners will remember, us Sword Boys, we're part of the MXM community, but we decided that we're not quite so insane to keep doing that format. So Travis, Godspeed. But for our regular listeners, as you already know, we are our main website is swordboys.biz. You can find their links to all of our episodes and our social media.
Merch.
Our merch, of course, our link to TeePublic is on there. But also, please do take a moment, go over to Travis's feed, subscribe to his podcast, because not only are you going to get the Road to Sherwood, but then you're going to get that however many hundreds of episodes.
What is it? 120? No, shit. It's 2 hour and 20 minute or something like that. So
yeah, so you're gonna get 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let's see, that's like 100, 120.
I was told there would
it's
be
130.
No
yeah.
Listen, we're
I don't
sword
have
boys,
my
we're not bad
dice in
boys.
front of me. Yeah,
But yeah, you're gonna get.
He does it for you. So
you're gonna get about 150 episodes all told of just awesome Robin Hood content.
Yeah.
So
we'll be joining him as well for.
We would
other
encourage you to
episodes.
do that.
Oh shit! I got to do 143 minutes of.
You
Robin
just
Hood.
found out on our podcast. That's what you gotta do.
I haven't looked
Attack of
at
the
my
Clones?
list of minutes in a while, but yeah, and I'm not even doing the extended cut, which is 10 to 15 minutes longer. So
Oh, come on. When it comes to
Um,
Costner movies, you know the extended cuts are the one to watch.
nah,
He's
I
doing
disagree. In
theatrical.
this case, I disagree. The theatrical is the superior
I'm with you.
Prince of Thieves.
I'm with you.
Real quick before we get out of here, Movies by Minutes is coming to Indianapolis on October 7th, 2023, at the Indie Fringe Basil Theater, so named after
The
this
Basil
movie,
Rathbone
Basil
Theater.
Rathbone.
I once had
Oh.
sex with a theater and they named it for me.
I'm sure a link for the tickets will be in the show notes for this and over on Minute of Thieves for the first part. So you can get tickets there for $20 if you're in the Indianapolis area. You want to see some live podcasts. I'll be doing a live episode of Minute of Thieves. So these guys will all be there. Maybe not all.
2 out of
Not
3.
all
I
of
think.
us.
Me
Some
and
of
Rick will be there.
Some
2
of
out
the
of-
Sword Boys will be in Indianapolis for Movies
Oh,
by
yeah.
Minutes.
You got to come if you want to see a good time. Come to the show and watch it on social media because we'll do get-togethers beforehand. We show up a couple days early. We're gonna hang out in Indianapolis and hang out with Travis because Travis is from Indianapolis, so we're gonna hang out there. Not
That's
from, but
It's
he
where I
lives there
am.
now.
Yeah,
It's where he am.
I am.
He am there. So yeah, thanks Travis for giving that out. Yeah, and until our next episode, boys. Clang clang.
Clang, clang.
Clang!
Swish, swish. That's the sound of a bow.
Some said I like the sky in my face. I've been